Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is ready. I hope everyone had a coffee. My name is Laura. I will be your trainer today. Um, how does it work here? I have this. Ah, it works. Perfect. Um, so I'm just going to turn off. Hop là. Parfait. Tac. Find the switch off. Here, the sound. Great. Okay, so I have a list here. We have this list of things we have to talk about today. So we're going to talk about drive. So if you have your drive session already, I suggest that you um, listen to what I'm saying, telling you, and do, the exercises at the same time. So it will be easier for you to follow. We're going to talk about drive for 20 minutes approximately. And then we will go into, the office suite with Google Docs, Google Sheets for almost an hour, Google Slides, and Google Forms, which is one of my favorite tool in the suite that I use a lot. So it makes 3 hours in total. The chat box is not activated this time. If you have any questions, you can contact your IT support. They will be able to answer all your questions. Obviously, feel free to come back to this training session. See what's if you need anything, if you miss something, I will try to do my best to cover all the subjects and the basics of the drive, team drives very briefly, and obviously the office suites. Okay, so let's start with the drive. So just like Gmail, if you followed up the training session for Gmail, you will notice that it looks quite the same actually. On the top left, you have the Drive logo, but so you're sure that you're on the Drive the Drive app. In the middle, you have the search bar. This is a very powerful tool. If you type something here, okay, Polish words. If you type a keyword, it's going to search into the name of a file, the name of a folder inside the file. It's a very, very powerful tool. So here you have this little wheel. If you click here, you're going to be able to access the settings. We will go into it in a few seconds. Here you have the Google Launcher. If you click here, you will be able to access your Gmail app, Drive, obviously, calendar, contacts. We talked about it already last time. Um, Docs, Sheets, Slides, but we're going to talk about today, and the chat, Meet, etc., etc. Here you have the logo of your company. So this is my Ekol training session. So I have the Ekol logo, the T for training. If it was my, personal account, I will have a L for Laura. Um, and on the left, you have this new huge button. If you click here, you will be able to create a new folder, upload a file or folder. But again, we will go into it in details a bit later. So you have here your panel with your Drive folder. So some people already made some tests. So we have this test folder. I don't speak Polish, but other test folders. Team Drive folders. We will talk about it as well. So below you have the shared with me folder. Um, this is a very important section in your file. In this shared with me folder, you will be able to find all the folders and all the files that your colleagues shared with you. It is extremely important to keep in mind that you cannot organize this section. You cannot start to make your own folders, etc. in it. If you want to, for example, yeah, got it. Thank you. For example, if you want to take this welcome and Ekol from Denis and put it in your file, you will have to make a right click and just click on Move to. Um, I guess that someone already added to the drive. Yeah, that one, for example, training one, that's training to shared with us. If you right click on it, you will have add to my drive. And then you will be able to organize it. So it's now added to my drive. And if I click on organize, up, I will be able to, you know, move it from one file to another. Um, Standard settings, you will add the file to your drive root. For example, if I click on move here up for training one, I will now be able to find it here. My drive, training one. If I go to my drive, up, what I have here, training one. So yeah, again, this is very important to keep in mind that you cannot organize this section. So this is, we don't have a lot of files here, but this is extremely important to actually sort out this section, because when you're going to start working with your drive session for a long time, you will have maybe hundreds, thousands of files here. It's going to be a mess. So I highly recommend you to actually right click and add to your drive to find easy to find all your files um, easily. Below, you have the recent section. In the recent section, you will find all the files that you opened recently. So, if you up, scroll down, 16th of January, blah, blah, blah. So it goes up to 3 months, if I am not mistaken. So, for example, if you are looking for a file that someone shared with you 6 months ago, you will not be able to find it in recent. Below, you have the start section. So nobody started anything yet. It works just like your favorites in Chrome, and you have you have the possibility to start files or folders and to be able to find them later very easily. For example, if I want to, I go to my drive to find this test folder. All what I have to do is to right click and add to start. So I can, visually see a star here. Okay, very nice. And if I go to this section, up, I have this folder here. So again, it's actually a good thing if you use a lot of the same files or folders and you don't want to waste, too many times searching in your folders. Can be a good idea to start to mark some of them to be able to find them later. The bin. Alors, the bin, if you follow the Gmail training session, we said that everything you put in your bin is going to be erased from the bin within 30 days. In your drive session, anything you put in your bin stays here until forever, until you decide to delete it. So you could use that section as, a folder where you put the things that you're not sure if you want to keep them or not. So you will see later. Something extremely important to keep in mind. It's not because you put a file or a folder in your bin, but it means that other people cannot access it. So we will discuss about sharing settings and so on a bit later, but I'm going to talk about it later and repeat it again because it's extremely important. It's not because you put something in your bin, but it means that other people cannot access it. It's extremely important. And below, you can see that you have storage with, you can see here that we have 58 kilobytes used. It's just for you. It's just for your information. You have business licenses, so you are not limited in your drive. You can put as many files as you want. You have unlimited storage capacity, which is good. And just a word about what you can put in your drive. You can put any type of format. It can be a picture, it can be a video. Obviously, it can be a Google Drive, a Google Docs, a Google Sheets. But you could also work with Excel, for example, or Word or PowerPoint. It's totally possible. Um, just something that I like to say during my training session is that you are you cannot put anything illegal, right? So you cannot put, for example, all the seasons of Game of Thrones, right? Don't do that. Just don't do that. It's totally illegal. You don't have the right to do this. Um, okay. So going back to my drive screen, you have this huge quick access bar here. If you're like me and you don't like it because it actually takes a lot of space, on the screen, you can actually get rid of it. If you click on the little wheel here to access the settings, if you scroll down a bit, you have here suggestions, and you can untick the first option, make relevant files handy when you need them in quick access. If you unclick that and approve it, done, paf, you get rid of it. I think that it's super convenient if you use your drive on your phone. But if you are working on your computer, I don't know. I'm not sure that it's that convenient. I'm not a big fan of it. So here we have Hopla. The list view. This is the list view, right? So you have all the files, all the folders. You can see the owner and so on. Standard settings. If this is the first time for you, standard settings looks like this. So you have these huge icons that take actually a lot of space. If you click here on the little icon below the Ekol logo, you can see that you can switch from the list view to the grid view. So this is the grid view. If I click here, bam, I go back to the list view. I like it much better. I mean, you can see, very easily what you have in your drive. You can see very easily the folders and so on. I think that it's much more convenient. Okay, you can also, if you click on the little information icon, you can view the details. For example, if I select this file, training one, I can see all the details. I can see that this is a Google Docs, but the owner is training two, that it's located in my drive. If I click on activity, I can see everything that happened on this file or in this folder from the very beginning. Sorry. So let's, for example, use that test folder that I didn't create it. I can see that on 16th of January, this folder has been created in my drive. That then this folder is now containing test 2. This is a Google Sheets item, and that someone edited the test 2 file. So again, we'll go back to it a bit later, and this is a very, very useful part of the drive. Up. Okay, so that was the general, information that you need to know. So now, technically, how do you store something on your drive? You have three options. You have three options. So the first one is to click on New and to click on File Upload. So if I click here, I will have this new window, and I will be able to, you know, access my desktop, my PC, all my folders, and just browse and select what I want to upload. The second one is actually to click on the white part. For example, here I do right click, upload files. Again, this new window, blah blah blah, exactly the same. I can browse and access and choose what I want. My favorite one, if I reduce that screen a bit, I will be able to drag and drop folders or files or pictures or whatsoever that what I want to upload. For example, let's select this beautiful picture of Lyon. This is where I live. So I click on it, drag and drop. So I can see that this is now uploading. Starting upload. Yeah. Can you just make it quicker, please? Okay. Okay, done. So I can see that I just uploaded this picture. If I click on it, bam, it's here. It's pretty. It's very pretty. So now the thing is that you can access everything that you put on your drive from anywhere. So now my computer can actually, get on fire, go through the window. I can lose it in the train whatsoever. I will be able to find all the files, all the data that I put on my drive from anywhere, as long as I have an internet access and obviously a browser. Because just like Gmail, this is an app, so you can access it from anywhere. Um, I guess that most of you know about the cloud technology. What is the cloud technology? It means that all the data, all the files, all the folders are not actually stored on your computer. It's actually stored in a remote server. So where it is technically, it's based in Google. So you will be able to access your data from anywhere because they are stored by Google. This is great. This is great. For example, if you are working at the office and you don't have, for example, a laptop, but you absolutely need to work on something from your home because I don't know, because you cannot go to your office, or because you don't have your laptop, or because you don't have internet at the office. This happened to me quite often in my former job. Um, you will be able to actually work from somewhere else. You don't need to be specifically at work at your office. This is great. This is great. Up. So this is me storing something. I can also store files. So if I do, new folder upload, up, I can select a folder. I can also, create a folder in my drive. So if I click on new folder, up, I will create a new folder. So I'm going to call it, for example, um, Ekol folder. Oops. Yes. So it's here now. It's here. Something to keep in mind, if I am located now in my drive and I want to up, create a new folder, it's going to create a folder in my drive. If I want, for example, to create a folder in Ekol folder, I go into Ekol folder and then I click folder. So it's like my folder 2, for example, create. Okay. So if I click now, on the little arrows, I can see my drive, Ekol folder, folder 2. So visually, it works just like your basic um, computer folders whatsoever. It works the same. It works the same. Up. So something that you need to keep in mind is that you cannot switch um, you cannot move the folders. For example, if I say yes, but I want the test folder to be above Ekol folder, well, you cannot do that. As you can notice, it's classified by name, so E is before T and W is after T. Something that you can do actually, if you want to um, to make your folders stand out much better, because it's gray on white. It's a bit, it's a bit dull. You can just make a right click, and change the color of it. So, for example, I'm like, yeah, okay, I like red. Bam, red. Um, so some people have a very visual memory, so for them it's excellent to have colors. Apart from that, for example, I have a colleague, she used the colors to mark her files, not the files, sorry, the folders, as um, ongoing projects, all the projects that are done. So she has this red, green, and orange colors, and that she uses these colors as a way to classify. So, for example, Ekol folder could be like very like a hot topic, something to follow. If it's, for example, just an example, if the test folder is now in green, it's like, yeah, okay, it's good, it's done, and you can just move to something else. Okay, so I have this very nice Lyon picture. I'm going to just put it in the Ekol folder. So I just select it, I click on it, select it, and drag and drop in Ekol folder. So this is how you move, things from one folder to another. If I double click on Ekol folder, I can see here my Lyon picture and the folder too. So everything you put in your drive um, is actually strictly personal. This is a question that I get a lot. Yeah, but if I put something on in my drive, can my colleagues access it? The answer is no. If you want your colleagues to access something on your drive, you need to decide it and to share it with your colleagues. This is what I'm going to do right now to show you. But right now, my picture of Lyon, my Ekol folder, my folder 2, they are actually strictly personal and nobody else apart from me can access it. So if I want to share something, I select, for example, here my picture, okay, and I make a right click, share, clack. So I have this little window. This is the basic window. If I click on advanced, up, I will have the full window, and this is extremely important to keep the full window. Why? Because you can see who's the owner. This is me, training one. This is me, you, me. I can say that I am the owner of it. Um, this is extremely important to keep in mind. What is the owner? You can only have one owner per file or per folder. This is very important. Only one owner per file. The owner is the only person who can actually delete it for good. This is the only person. So, if I want to invite people, so for example, I'm going to invite my Laura Testu at Devoteam Cloud. This is my other account. This is my professional account. I can here, just start to type someone up and all the names can appear here. If you remember, last time we discussed contact groups. I like this functionality a lot because here you can actually call the contact groups that you made in Gmail. So if I remember properly, yes, see, I have here some groups done already. So I have group 2, group 1, group 1. So for example, if I call group 1, up, I have this person already in my group. So it's going to add all the people in the group. Up, I'm not going to spam her. Here, I can actually decide what the people I invite can do. So you have 3 different access levels: edition, comment, and view. So if I select that Laura Testu at devoteamgcloud.com can edit, it means that Laura Testu at Devoteam would be able to, make modifications and type things. And yeah, that's it. She will have full access, total access. If I decide that she can only comment, we will see that you can actually make some suggestions and some comments on the file. So it's going to appear as a little bubble on the side or on the document. We will come back to it a bit later. Or you can decide that this person can only view, and that's it, only view. She's not going to be able to amend or whatsoever. She will only be able to view. So just, for the training session, I will and I decide that she can edit. Okay, default settings here, notify people. I highly suggest that you just let it here. Why? Because I think that it's better that the people you invite know that you invited him or her. I think that it's better that this person is aware that you shared something with him or with her. Here I have these 2 settings that are extremely important, and this is why we always recommend you to click on Advanced. So you have these 2 settings. First one, prevents editors from changing access and adding new people. So if I don't click here and I add someone else, so for example, okay, this person, hi, I don't know who you are. If I don't click here, it means that Ebo here will be able to say, oh, okay, so now Laura, but you know what, she can only view. And Laura will be like, yeah, okay, you know what, I want to get rid of someone in the list, so I'm just going to delete this person from the list. So this is extremely important to ask yourself who you are sharing this folder or file with. How do you want this folder or file to be shared again without you knowing or being aware of this? Um, is it confidential file or folder? This is extremely important to ask yourself this question and to be aware and to be responsible of the data that you are trying to share with someone else, because it's not going to be ticked, and you cannot change that. You cannot, make it ticked by default. You cannot amend that. So you will have to ask yourself the question and tick it if you want to. Oh, I'm going to get rid of this person. I don't want to spam her. So I'm going to take it, for the example. Second option, important as well, disable option to download, print, and copy for commenters and viewers. When you have a comment and view access rights, you will have this a little download, print, and copy options on the right, left of your screen. Or same here, it's important to ask yourself the question, what I am sharing, who I am sharing with, extremely important. Um, so actually, it's important, for example, if you want to make sure that someone, uh, but I mean, but no one is making a copy of a very important file, for example. What's going to happen if you have two different versions of the same file or the same folder with different contents? Not cool. It's extremely important to keep that in mind. Second thing to keep in mind is that um, you don't want this data to get out of the company, for example, or to be sent to someone that is not part of the project. Um, so in terms of security, it's important to keep that in mind as well. Do you want the viewer and the commenters to be able to download, print, copy? It's important. So again, let's take that and apply the changes. Okay, so I applied my changes and I'm going to invite Laura Testu at Devoteam Cloud to access this picture. So if you are sharing something with someone that is not part of your domain, so this is the case, this is how case now, Devoteam Cloud is not part of Ekol.com, obviously. So yes, I approve. Okay, so now I can see that Laura Testu can access this file. So now that you share something, you can see that you have this little logo here, with two people. Like, okay, now it's accessible by someone. Obviously, it's not because you share something, but it means that you cannot undo this. If you're like, yeah, okay, I shared it with Laura, but I changed my mind. I don't want to share it with Laura anymore. So you just have to, again, right-click, share to access your options again, click on advanced, and just get rid here. If you click on the little cross of Laura, that's it. You can also, change here, decide that she can now edit, comment, view. Something that I like a lot is that you can actually set up an expiry date. If I click here, I can decide that Laura can access the file for 7 days, 30 days, or, just until 1st of April, for example. I like that one. Okay, let's apply this. Okay, so now I can see that um, her access actually expires on 1st of April. Done. Okay, so we just saw how to share a file. I think that it's not the most interesting thing. I think that it's more interesting to actually share a folder. Why? When you share a folder, people will be able to access all the folders and all the files inside. So for example, I'm going to share the Ekol folder. So again, right click, share. So you're going to be able to access the same window, almost advanced. I can see that at the moment only me can access this folder. I'm going to add Laura again. Yeah, okay. Again, you have the same setting here up. I don't want Laura to be able to add other people. I'm not going to notify her because it's me. It's a bit weird. Okay. Skip sending invitations. Yes, because I'm inviting myself up. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, so now Laura Testu at devoteamjcloud.com can access everything that is now part of Ekol folder. So again, I can see that here I have this little guy on the folder. So I can see that it's different from the test, the green folder here, but that doesn't have the little guy. I can see here as well that I have this little logo, and I can also see now that folder 2 has the same logo, right? I can see that folder 2 is shared as well. So if I decide to share Ekol folder with someone, this someone will be able to access anything that is part of this folder. Okay. So this is about sharing. Again, this is extremely important to keep in mind what you are sharing, who you are sharing with. This is super important, and always click on advanced settings. Always. So for now, okay, I'm going to make tests with myself. I shared something with Laura Testu at Devoteam G-Cloud. So I'm going to open up my Devoteam G-Cloud session here. So it's in French, apologize. Um, so if I want to find something that someone shared with me, we discussed a bit earlier that you were going to be able to find it in shared with me. So if I go to my shared with me, up, partage avec moi in French, I can see here that I have an Ekol folder, that training one shared with me. I have also the Lyon picture shared with training one. So if I want to add this folder again, I just have to make a right click, add to my drive, and then okay, organize, and just for example decide that I'm going to put it just at my drive root. So if I click here, I can see all my folders, and here I have now Ekol folder. So it's extremely important to keep in mind that I am not creating a copy of this Ekol folder, right? I can see that the owner is training one. Training one is the owner of this file whatsoever. So this Ekol folder is actually located on the drive of training one. What I am creating here is actually like a shortcut to the drive of someone else. I created the shortcut. So I'm not, again, the owner. I cannot delete it. I cannot change it. If I make a right click and say delete it, I'm not going to delete it for good. I'm going to delete it from my drive. I'm not going to delete it from the training one drive. But I can access it, right? Up, I can click here, open something, Lyon, click on folder 2 and access the content. So it means that now from my Devoteam G-Cloud account, I can access this Ekol folder, and I can also share things inside. So for example, I'm going to upload something up here. I have this very beautiful camper picture that is located in Little Britain in France. I'm going again to click, drag and drop. Again, takes a few minutes to import it. Oh, internet is not that good today. Almost there. Ah là là. Okay, almost. Yes, good. Yes, great. Perfect. So now I can see that Laura Testuel Devoteam is the owner of Quimper, of the Quimper picture. I can open it, right? Beautiful. Very beautiful. If I go back to my training account, so here, back to Ekol account, I can see that Laura Testu is the owner of this picture, Quimper. All right, I can see that it's shared. So what is extremely convenient here is that anyone can actually share things in the same folder. So you can actually save a lot, like a lot of time by sharing things that way. You're going to save yourself uh, the effort of sending emails, like typing a little email, add an attachment, and be like, yeah, please find and close the Lyon picture, the Quimper picture, please find and close this, and that. You're going to save a lot of time by working that way, I swear. So, okay. So I can see now that we have several people who actually shared things in this Ekol folder. So we said a bit earlier that I cannot delete a file that I am not the owner, right? So it means that I cannot delete this Laura Testu file, and that Laura Testu cannot delete my file. So we can say that it's not entirely true, but also it is totally true. I'm going to explain, and it's going to make sense for you. So I'm going to go back to my Devoteam account. Okay, so I am in the Ekol folder again. So I have my picture, Quimper. Okay, I am the owner here, and I have the folder too, and I have the Lyon picture, right? If I up, if I make a right click, I'm going to be able to delete it, right? Below with the little bin. It's in French, but it's exactly the same icon with the little bin. I'm going to show you. Yeah, that way it's going to be a bit easier. I'm going to show you what's going to appear if you try to suppress, to delete a file that is not yours. So I'm going to try to delete this Quimper picture by Laura Testu. Okay, right click, remove, delete, same. Okay, with the little bin. So, extremely important here, removed one file. One file is still accessible by collaborators. I said a bit earlier that it's not because you put something in your bin, or it's not because you delete something that you shared previously, but it means that nobody can access it. So now I just removed the Camper picture, but people can actually still access the Camper picture. So now, for example, if I type here in the search bar Quimper, because I remember the name. Uh, See, I can access it. It's still here. All right. If I go in recent or in shared with me, I will be able to actually find it. Uh, if you have any troubles with things that you cannot access, just press F5. Up, recent, F5. Here, okay, Quimper is here. See, recent. Shared with me should be somewhere here too. Okay, so if you use the search bar, if you use the shared with me or recent sections, it's great, but it's great as long as you remember the name of a file, right? How can you how can you actually find a folder or a file that someone shared with you, but it's been a long time and you cannot remember the name of it, and you don't know basically. If I go back to my Ekol folder, I said a bit earlier that you can click here on the details panel here, and I can see all the activity, if I click on activity, from the very beginning of this file. So if I scroll down, 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 I can see that I created and shared this Ekol folder file at 1:17 p.m. Blah blah blah. That I created an item, and that I moved an item. I moved the Lyon picture, and then I shared an item with Laura Testu, and then I changed permissions. Blah 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 blah. I can see then that Laura Testu uploaded an item, and then I can see that I removed an item. Okay, I removed the picture. Quimper. So if I click on it, I can see that this is actually a link, right? If I click on it, it's here again. So what's important to keep in mind is that you can have, an eye on everything that has been done on a folder or in a file very easily. So it's not about, yeah, who said that, who wrote that, who deleted that. No, it's not about, playing the police with your colleagues. It's not about that at all. It's that you are actually independent. Very classically, if you, for example, delete a file or folder from your computer, for example, you will have to call your IT team, and it's going to take hours, maybe days, to get your file or folders back. Here, actually, you are totally independent and totally responsible. So you can actually, do your own thing, get back your file, your folder, and you don't need to wait for someone else to actually make it for you. You are independent. This is very important to keep that in mind as well. So if I click on it, okay, I'm happy, I can find it. And on the top right on my screen, I have this little add to my drive logo. If I click on it, I can see that it's now added to my drive. I can undo it. Why would I do that? And I could also organize it. If I click on organize, I can then, just select the folder. For example, I want to put it back in Ekol folder and move it here. Yeah, so okay, yeah, moving this item, everyone will be able to see it. Yes, okay, I agree. Bam. So now I can see that Quimper has been moved to Ekol folder. So if I click on Ekol folder here, okay, it's opening a new window. Why not? Okay, so Quimper is now back in the game. It's back in the folder. So nothing is never lost forever, right? If you want to delete something for good, you will see that you cannot delete something um, because you didn't do it. I mean, you cannot delete something by mistake, right? To delete something for good, it's going to take you 5 clicks, 5 actions. It's a lot. You cannot be like, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't do it on purpose. No, no, no. You're aware that you're deleting something. So here, if I want to delete my own picture, the Lyon picture, it's me. Okay, right, it's me. First click, okay, right click, remove. So now again, I can see one remove file is still accessible by collaborators. So my Lyon picture is now in my bin, okay, because I deleted it. It's now in my bin. It's here, right? I can see that everybody else can access it, right? Because I can see that I still have its little shared little guys, right? If, for example, I am sharing this Lyon picture with you and you're trying to find it and it fits in my bin, you will be able to access it. If I do another click, right click again, I can see that I can restore it, but I can also delete it forever. If I click on delete forever, are you sure you want to delete it forever? It's going to be permanently deleted. Warning, you cannot undo this action. Delete forever. Forever. Bam. And now it's forever gone. Lost. Goodbye. Um, so now it's deleted for good. You can call anyone. You can call your IT team. You can call your grandpa. You can call your cat. Nobody is going to be able to help you. The file is gone and nobody else can access it. So if I go back to the Ekol folder, I can see that the Lyon picture is not here. And I can see here on the activity panel that I moved an item to the bin, so Lyon, okay? And if I refresh the page, it doesn't want to show you. You can see that if well, okay, I'm trying to click and see no preview available. Cannot find the file, cannot find the picture again. And I would like to show you how it looks. Mhm, mhm. Refreshing the page, still refreshing the page. I don't know. Yeah, okay, sometimes it can take a little bit of time. Okay, it doesn't want to show you. When you actually delete something permanently, it's going to um, oh, just forgot the word in English. Oh, how do you say that? It's going to be crossed, right? Like deleted, done, bim. Okay, so we saw how to store, we discussed how to share. I think that we covered all the main things about sharing and storing. Again, what's important to keep in mind is that you need to be responsible of what you are sharing. You need to ask yourself who I am sharing, what I am sharing, how do I want to control it? Do I want other people to be able to share it again? It is extremely important. And second thing, you cannot organize the shared with me section. You need to add it to your drive. And third thing is that it's not because you add something to your bin, but it means that other people cannot access it, right? Keep that in mind. Something very important also to discuss very briefly before we move to the office suits. Something that I use a lot, like all the time. This is a very useful function. This is the this is the offline mode. So if you click on the settings here, settings, I did it a bit too quickly maybe, settings, you can see that you have the offline mode, okay? So you can actually tick it, sorry, and your system is going to synchronize all your Google Docs, sheets, slides, and drawings file to your computer. So the point is, you're on the train, you're in the plane, you don't have access to to the Wi-Fi, to whatsoever, to internet or whatever. You will be able to access your Google files to work on them. And next time you go back to the internet, the system is going to synchronize again, and all your data will be stored online. So this is incredibly useful. I use that all the time when I am taking the train, for example. For example, I take the train, I go to Paris, I go back to Lyon. I don't have internet in the train because it's France and they don't like it or it's super expensive. I can actually still work on my Google files. So something to keep in mind. Don't do that if this is not your professional laptop, for example. Do that with your professional laptop only. Second thing, you can only synchronize your Google Docs, sheets, slides, and drawings. It doesn't work with, PowerPoint, Excel, and Word files, right? It makes sense. It's logical. The third thing is that it only works with Chrome. So if you are not working with Chrome already, please do it now. It's one of the most useful and important function of the drive of your drive session. I think that this is one of the most useful and powerful function and tool of the whole Google Suite. I'm not going to obviously tick it because this is a training session. I don't need it, but this is synchronized from my Devo team account, and this is one of the most important thing to think about. Up. I hope that it's clear for everyone. I think that we are done with the storage and sharing aspects of your drive session. So now we're going to go into the details of the Google Docs, Sheets, slides, and forms. I love these tools. Maybe you noticed, but if you click on New, you can see that you can create a Google Docs, a Google Sheets, a Google Slides. Okay, so you have two aspects regarding the whole Office suite. You can still work with your classic Microsoft tools. This is something that you can do. You will be able to store the Microsoft files, but you're not going to be able to actually amend them in your drive. So I'm going to make an example so you can see how it looks like. I'm going to reduce that this window. Okay, so here, I have this test Google docx whatsoever. This is a file. This is a Microsoft Word file. Okay, I don't have. I have the license, but it's not activated on my computer because obviously I'm not working with it. There is no point of it. I can upload this file. Okay, let's just click on it, drag and drop, boom, it's uploading. Okay, so now I have this test google.x blah blah. It's shared obviously because I put it in the Ekol folder. I am the owner of it. If I double click on it, it's going to open it. But as you can see, I cannot amend it, right? So this is a test, blah blah blah. The only thing I can do is to actually view it, and I can comment it. But I cannot amend it. If I want to amend it, I will be forced to actually open it. Up here on my computer, double click here to open Microsoft Office, and then yeah, okay, I just told you that it's not activated on my account, blah, blah, blah. Do all the modifications I want to do, blah, blah, blah. Um, Obviously, to save, using the little save option, we will see that you don't have to do that in the Google Suite, which is super convenient. And then if I want to share it again with someone, I will have to upload it again. So let's pretend I made some amendments, right, on my file. So I'm going to select it, upload it again, bam. Okay, what's super important to notice here? I can see that I have two uploads. Okay, I have the first one, test Google, okay, and the second one, version 2, here, okay. So what is interesting here is that your Drive session is actually doing for you all the versioning work. So now if you try to open it again, it's going to, you will have to believe me because I made no amendments, but it's opening actually the version 2, the second version, right? If I make a right click on it, right click, I can see here that I can manage versions. If I click manage versions, I can see that I have my first version, right? Okay, 1:49 p.m. This is the first version, and then the current version, 1:50 p.m. that I just, uploaded. What's important to keep in mind, interesting, is that your Drive session actually keeps all the versions for 30 days or up to 100 versions, which is a lot. Depends on the limit you reach first. What's also important to keep in mind is that you can decide to download, for example, the version 1, for example. By default, you're going to keep forever all the versions. And then system, when you reach, the 30 days or the 100 versions limit, it's going to tell you, yeah, okay, you reached this limit, which file you want to delete. And you will just have to click on delete. So this is interesting, but I think that it's not the most clever and the most convenient way. I don't know. It means that I have to upload each time the file I am working on. It's not convenient at all. But what does it mean? It means that I can still work with people who are not using Google, and just I will be able to send them a Word file or an Excel file, even if I am working on Sheets or with Google Docs. So this is let's say the I am not ready, in brackets, way of working. I am not ready to use Google, but now I am ready. I want to use Office Suite because it's so much more convenient, and you will see it's so much more convenient. So something that is very classic as well. You are used to work with your Microsoft licenses, so you have your Word files, you have your Excel files, etc., etc. You're like, yeah, okay, so it's great, but how can I actually convert them to the Google format? Well, it's very easy. Let's start with Google Docs. So if I open my Google Docs, my Microsoft Word file, okay, so we said that, okay, I cannot make amends, I cannot make modifications, blah, blah, blah. But if I, place my mouse on the top of the screen, I can see here that I can open with Google Docs. I'm going to click here, left click. It's going to open a new window. Okay, and I can see now that I just created a new file within, I don't know, 3 seconds, because the Wi-Fi is not that good. If I go back to my Ekol folder, what can I see? I can see that I still have this Word file, that I am the owner, blah, blah, blah. And here I have this test Google, which is a Google document, a Google file that has been created like this, right? So how can you actually make the difference between the two of them? The Word file has this W blue logo, while the Google Docs has this little blue logo too, with little lines. I can see that the Word file has an extension, docx, right? Which is not the case for the Google file. And also, and this is very important to notice, is that my Word file has actually a file size, and the Google file doesn't have any size. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that the Google doesn't have any size, okay? It has an impact in terms of storage. It just means that Google, they are very, very, very super smart. They want people to actually use the tools they are creating. So they decided that to make it easier for you, to push you to use their tools, their apps, to support the impact on your storage. So you have business licenses, so you are not impacted. See, I said a bit earlier that your storage, you have the storage here, but this is just for your information. But for example, if you are working with your private account, for example, which is my case, I have a private personal account. Um, my storage, my storage is not impacted by the Google Files data size, which is super interesting. Okay, so about the main functionalities. If you are used to work on Microsoft Word, you're not going to be lost at all. You're going to be able to find exactly the same functions, just that they are not located at the same place. I'm going to connect with my other account to show you how it looks like when you work with different people. Okay, so this is again my Devoteam account. I'm going to access this test Google file. Okay. Okay. Back to the training account. So I can see here, on the on the top right, I can see people who are actually working on documents. So right now I can see that Laura Tistu is in pink. Okay, Laura Tistu at Devoteam G Cloud. She's in pink and she's here. You see? So you can see where people are actually located on the screen, which is super convenient. I'm going to, I have an idea. I'm going to make a little test. Don't move. I'm going to access this file from my phone. So I will be able to show you how it looks like. So again, I am on my training session, right? Okay, this is training one. Up, I'm going to click that. So now I am right now on my phone, right? So you can see Laura Testu is here, okay, in pink. I'm going to type hi, hello, how are you? Okay, French autocorrect makes no sense. See, I am typing with my Laura Testu Devoteam account, G-Cloud, and anything she's typing, I can see it on my training account. How convenient is that? So what does it mean? It means that you can work, several people can actually work on the same file at the same time. This is incredibly convenient. I love this functionality. This is something that obviously works with Google Docs, Google Sheets as well, Google Slides, and Google Forms if you want to. This is incredibly, incredibly convenient. For example, you are working on meeting notes, for example, and you have, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 people um, participating in this meeting. I mean, what's the point of having all these people working on different files, on different notes on their own, right? You could, for example, make one single file, and everybody will be able to share the notes on the same file. So everybody will be able to share information. Much more convenient, much more smart. It's much more smarter. Much more smarter? No, it's smarter. Hop là. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, I can say that I can change the name right here of the file. For example, I can, okay, hold on, just let me check something. Just let me check something. Okay, right. I can actually change the name of the document. So for example, here I can, call it incredible, incredible box. It's up. It's now a new file, right? Um, so the name is changing here as well, right? Without me having to do anything. Just let me check something. Oh la la. Okay, what's going on here? Oh la la, what's going on here? I'm not sharing my screen. Ah la 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 la. Okay. Okay, it works now. Awesome. Awesome. This is the problem. Okay, I think this is what Alex tried to advise and tell me. Okay, just hold on. Okay. Awesome. All right. All right. All right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so okay. So I can change the name of the file. In terms of functionalities, I can find exactly the same. So for example, I can, select and change the font. For example, I can decide now to work with impact. For example, impact. I can change the size of it, right? Select new size. I can decide to write. I'm not going to select impact. I'm going to stay to Arial. Bold, italic, to underline it up. I can change the color of it, obviously, red, up. Okay. What can I do as well? I can actually decide to insert a picture or an image. For example, I can upload from my computer, search from the web, or insert from the drive. One of my favorites is actually if you decide to search from the web, it's going to open this new panel on the right. Um, so what's interesting here, if I start to look for something, so for example, Lyon, okay, it's going to suggest pictures of Lyon. So I can, select that one, for example, which is nice, insert. Okay, cool. So now I have this picture, right? I can insert a picture. Okay, I can insert as well a table, right? Okay, I select, clack, insert a table. Okay, one, two, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Um, what else? I can insert a chart. What's interesting here, I can decide to insert a chart from Sheets. So let's imagine I am working on Sheets. I am making this very important graphs about something whatsoever. I can click on Sheets and import it. So other people made some tests already. I'm going, for example, to select that one, select, and I can decide, for example, to insert that one. Okay, import. And I can link it to the spreadsheet. Okay, so now I have this graph that is inserted. Um, okay, what else? I can insert up here, for example, a table of contents, right? If I decided to make, for example, chapter 1, Gmail, for example, up, heading 1, okay, I can make heading 2, chapter 2, drive, Okay, great. So here, up. So now I can access chapter 1, chapter 2. Make a mistake here. T, I like that one. Up, up, up. Um, so if you paid attention, you could see that here I have all changes saved in Drive. If I type here, I like saving, 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 just typing whatsoever, saving, saving. As soon as I stop typing, all changes are actually saved. This is one of the common functionalities that you can find in docs, sheets, slides, and forms too. This is one of the main functionality and one of the most interesting one, obviously, because as soon as you type something, your data is never lost. It's going to be saved automatically. So I guess that it happened to all of us, right? You are working on something extremely important. You spend minutes, hours on this file, and boom, everything is gone, and all your data is gone, and you don't know what to do to get back to it. So it's not going to happen with this solution. If you go back to File, Version History, see Version History, and you click, you can see everything that has been done on a file from the very beginning. So I can say here that up on around 2 p.m. I imported a docx file, and then I can see if I click here everything that has been done. So I can see that at 1:36, training one, I actually just selected everything and deleted everything. If I put my mouse on it, I can see that training one deleted everything. I can see that yes, voilà. At 1:38, le rat is to actually type hi, hello, how are you? I can see that at 2:22, let's say, training one actually made some, I don't know, hopla, and then inserted a picture and then typed, inserted a table. Well, you can see everything that has been done on a file. Okay. So, for example, now, if I decide, because I don't know, I have a very stupid idea, I decide to select everything and delete everything. So now it's saved. All changes are now saved in Drive. What's going to happen? Actually, it's not a problem because if I go back to File, Version History, see Version History, up, I can actually go back to the previous version. So here, this is my current version, right? Everything has been deleted, but I can go back to the previous version here and just decide to restore this version. If I click here within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I'm going to be able to restore this version very quickly. If I click, yes, I agree, I restore, and bam, this is extremely fast and extremely convenient. But what is also super convenient is that actually you can name the versions of your file. If I go to File, Version History, I can see that I can right now name the version. So for example, if I want to name it, I can, I don't know, call it version 1, for example, save, right? So it's now saved in version history. If I go back to File, Version History, see Version History, and I can decide to only show named versions. I tick that, and then I can find my version 1 here. And yeah, it's actually very useful. For example, we use it with my colleague on slides. For example, we have this huge training sessions catalog with everything that we're working on. So it's a huge slides of 70, 80 pages maybe. But obviously when a client or colleague asks us, yes, so do you have this catalog, this PDF for this specific training session? We're not going to send them or send her or send him the full thing, the whole thing, right? So we have different versions of the same document, and then you will be able to download them or print them or whatsoever to work on them. So you don't have, so the whole point of this is that you don't need to have different versions saved on your drive. You can have the same file with different versions of it, which is extremely convenient. So another functionality that is actually common to docs, to sheets, to slides, is that you can actually download it to specific formats. So if I click on File and then Download As, I can see that I can download it as a Microsoft Word, for example, or to a PDF, for example. So again, you can see that you can work with people who are still not working with Google, they are working with Microsoft Word. You can just, prepare documents with Google and then download it as a PDF or a Microsoft Word. So in terms of versioning, conversion, etc., there is, I mean, everything that is, picture, content, tables, and everything will be actually set up properly, right? I only noticed at the moment, the only thing I noticed that is different is that if you use the lobster font, I don't know why it doesn't work very well. That one, it's a bit complicated. But apart from that, everything else is actually converted from one format to another. Okay, so we saw a bit earlier that you can see where people are actually located on the documents. So if I use my phone again to access this file with my dev team, oops, Drive, okay. Okay, so I can see that Laura Testu is in pink and she's here. She'll be like, yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, great. She's typing, right? So this is what we call collaborative work. So everybody is able to work at the same time on the same document. So what is actually convenient and interesting is that you're going to be able to assign tasks to people or to work with comments or suggestions. So one of the, in terms of good practice, let's say, what is actually a smart thing to do is to decide that you have maybe one, two, three people who are actually the leaders on a document. So for example, let's say that it's me. And I just shared with document with Laura Testu at Devoteam Cloud, right? So I can decide now that she can only comment, okay? Again, this is something that you can do with docs, sheets, slides, whatsoever. This is part of the common functionalities. I'm going to save the changes. Okay, done. So now Laura can only comment. So if I go back to my phone and decide to comment something, yes, I need to refresh the page because my access are now different. And I am up. Okay. So see, now Laura Testu is typing here in pink, right? But it's not, it's a comment, it's a suggestion she's making. I can see that I have this little bubble here, right? She's adding merci, okay, which means thank you. I can now decide, because I have editing rights here, as you can see, that I can approve, accept the suggestion, or that I can just reject it, right? So, for example, I'm going to approve it because, yeah, okay, right. She's going to up. She could also change the color, for example. You can see that she's selecting the text and now she's selecting blue and she's going to approve this, right? Okay. Okay, so now it's in blue and she's suggesting that to change the format and the text color. I can decide, yeah, no, okay, you know what? Reject. I don't want to approve this. So you can also find and open the history of all the comments that has been done on a document. If I click here on this little icon next to share, I can see that she added merci and that I actually accepted the suggestion. I could also see that she tried to change the text color and that I rejected the suggestion, right? I could also, for example, ask her to do some modifications, right? I could, okay, let's do that. I could ask her, for example, here, um, to select this, I just double clicked on it, right? And I can have here add comments on this little icon, right? So training one, it's me. I am asking Laura Destu, okay? So you can just click on this or the plus, right? Same. I can ask her, can you please insert here picture of Paris, for example. Okay, great. I'm going to assign this task to Laura Testu. Assign. So if I click now on sign, Laura Testu at Devoteam Cloud will receive a notification with Gmail, an email like, yeah, okay, Laura, hi, Laura, training one at ekol.com asked you to do this on this file. Could you please click on this link and it's going to redirect you directly to the place where the comment is. Up, assign. Okay, so now it's assigned to Laura Testu, right? I could also comment on it. If I click on it, just in the middle, I can type something else. And also a picture of a cat, because cats are cute. Reply. Okay? And anybody can actually reply to this. It's not only me and Laura, right? Anybody can reply. Okay, I like this functionality a lot. I think that it's especially useful with sheets. We're going to talk about it a bit later. I think that this is one of the most interesting functionality in the Office suite. Um, what else? What else? What else? Yes, there is something extremely important that I like a lot. Up, is that you have in tools a voice typing option. I like that one a lot. Uh, if you are, if you are using this type of tool for a long time, you know that maybe 3, 4 years ago it wasn't great, but they made a lot of improvement. For example, I can select the language here. Okay, so I'm going to just select French or something else. I'm just going to select English because, well, let's pretend I am English. United Kingdom, okay. But you can see that you have all the languages, right? You have Spanish, you have Francais, French, obviously, you have Italian, you have, you have anything. You have Portuguese, you have Polish, you have Russian, you have Greek, you have Arabic, you have everything, literally everything. Okay, so I'm just going to click to speak. Just going to put it here. I need to allow the mic. Hello, could you please type it to prove them that it works nicely? Maybe my English accent is not that good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, see, obviously I'm not an English native speaker, so my accent is not great. But you can see that it works quite nicely. Um, I think I could try it in French, but you're not going to be able to see that it works nice. But yeah, try it on your own. See, you will see that it works very, very nice. Just don't speak too fast, obviously, because otherwise the system is going to, be like, what the hell is she doing? They made a lot of improvement with this tool. It works very nicely. We tried it in Portuguese last time with a student. We tried the Japanese too. It works very nicely. It works very well. Okay. Something that is interesting is that you can actually work from a template. Again, this is something that you can find with sheets, docs, slides, and so on. If you click on File, New, from Templates, okay, yeah, okay, someone submitted a template. But Ecologistics will actually push some templates and you will be able to work from a template. I think that it's especially useful if you're working with slides, for example. So you have the templates for your slides. You don't have to, recreate every single time audio slides, which is super useful. Okay. Clear formatting, just checking. Spelling, yes, you have obviously a spell check in your document just in case. You have a personal dictionary that is included in the tool, so you can actually, amend it and add new words. Um, mm, 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 mm. Yes, you have the activity dashboard, so you can see who actually, who you shared with, obviously, and you can see who actually um, consulted the documents. So I can see that, okay, only one person, for example, few time at Ekol Logistics, obviously, because Laura Testua Devoteam is not part of Ekol Logistics. But this is an interesting functionality, I think. I can see that, Laura Testua viewed it within the hour. I can send her an email. It's cool. It's great. It's a great tool. Okay. So I think that we talked enough about docs. Just in one click, if you decide to download it in Microsoft Word, PDF, and so on, you just click on it. For example, I selected PDF. Okay, so now I just have this new incredible docs as a PDF. Here, my nice PDF. I like it. It's nice. Okay. So enough with docs. Let's move to sheets. So, boom. I can also create Google Sheets. If I click on it, create and share, up. I can now again change the name, for example, Magic Sheets up because it's magic. Um, so how does it look like if we are several people working on the same documents? So I'm going again to access these sheets from my phone. Okay, Ekol folder, Magic Sheets, it's here. Okay, cool. So I can see that again, Ratist is in pink, she's here, and she's located in A4, right? Me, I can, move here, here, here. So you can see, just like in Docs, where your coworkers are actually here. So how does it look like when someone is typing and you are just seeing? So up, I'm just going to type something here. Okay. So Laura Testu is typing something. I can see that the cell is now in gray, right? She's typing, she's working here. So I'm not going to go myself on the same cell and type something, right? Just like if you're working on the same document, just don't go where your colleagues are actually working. It makes absolutely no sense. So, for example, let's say that she's working here and that I am working here too. Okay, so I am writing salut, right? So if now Laura Testu is actually okay, no, I'm going to. So this is me, right? Okay, I just typed salut, right? But Laura Testu is still on the cell. So now, is she approved what she's doing? Okay. See, she actually erased the content of my cell because she put hello. So basically, what you need to keep in mind is that the last person who typed enter actually wins the game. right? So this is very easy to erase the content of someone else. So pay very much attention, not to raise type of on something that someone else is doing. So this is where actually working with with comments and suggestions is actually super, super, super useful. For example, we work with many different peoples on the training sessions, calendars and plannings, right? So I have this colleague, Jeanne, for example. She's making this huge sheets with not thousand, but hundreds of lines. In each line is a training session, right? She is the owner of the file. Only her can actually make amendments and so on. And she decided to share this file with us with limited access. So everybody else is actually accessing up the file with comments only. So for example, I'm going to do this with Laura Testu up. Save changes, done. See, so now if Laura is trying to, okay, I need to refresh the page, obviously, on my own. So now if Laura is going to A5 and comment something, she'll be like, could you please grant me full access? I'm typing on my phone at the same time, right, to show you. Comment. Okay, so now I can see that I have a new comment, right? If I put my mouse on it, I can see that Laura Testu commented, could you please grant me full access, please? Okay, so I can here reply to her, nope, reply, him. Okay, what's interesting about here, if you go to the bottom of your screen, you can see, sheet one, sheet two, etc. And you can see the amount of comment you have on your page, on your spreadsheet. So only one here. I love this function in Sheets. I think that it's extremely, extremely useful. So just like in Docs, you can actually click on File, download as an Excel file, download as a PDF, download as a CSV. You can also access the version history, exactly the same. If it wants to upload, yeah, it's a bit slow. See? Okay, I can see that. All right. This has been done by Laura. I could also name a current version, exactly like in Docs, like version 4, save, okay. I could find it again in a history version. Up. It's slow. It's very slow today. What's going on? Okay, so I can access my version 4 here. Exactly the same. Just like in Docs, you can also see that all changes are saved in Drive, right? So in terms of functions, I'm going to get rid of this, suppress. In terms of function, okay, let's pretend I am typing this extremely important file. So here I'm going to put the name. Here I'm going to type the age, and here I'm going to be yes or no. Okay, so name. Let's start with, for example, Laura. She's 30, and it's a yes. So yes. Okay. I'm going to add Morgan. She's 27 and it's no. All right. I'm going to add Sophia. She's 31 and it's no. Okay. And so on. And I could add, I don't know. I could add Tony. He's 34 and it's yes too. Okay. What can I do? I can actually make a table. I select up, I click on borders, I can actually up, change the borders. I could actually also change the border style, like for example, like this, and I want to put it, ah, just like if I want to show, it doesn't work properly. Up, back. Okay. You need to select first the style, obviously, and then the border you want to apply. Up, like this. I could also change the color of the cell. So I select the cells I want to change the color. Then I can fill color, change the color, for example, in pale yellow, for example. I could, put the text in bold, italic. I could obviously select cells and just merge them. It's merged. Okay. I can also unmerge, obviously. I could decide to align, in the center. I can also, it works better if I do that. I could also select the cells and decide to align them in the middle. Bam, here, going to do that as well. For example, if I type a lot of text, like, okay, up, I select the cell. I could decide to, if I want to let it overflow, if I want to wrap it like this, if I want to cut it, to clip it. Okay, I like that one. It's much easier than in Excel, I think. Um, obviously, yeah, I didn't show that, but obviously you can change the font, right? For example, that one. I can change the size, obviously. I could change also the format, right? So here it's automatic. It could be plain number, for example. I could add a date, right? I'm going to insert something here. I could add date, right? So here it's up date, right? If I try to change it now, I can also select a date in the calendar, in the agenda. Cool, I'm happy. Obviously, you could do that. Select and change it. For example, up, if I type 12, I click on it and just to copy. What else? What else is interesting? If you want to add a comment, again, you click here, insert a comment. Okay, great. I can, ask Laura, could you please insert here, I don't know, past, for 2019. Great. I'm going to assign this task to her. Assign. Okay, bam. It's assigned now. So it's a new comment. I could also very easily insert a chart. So I'm going to get rid of this delete column. I'm going to select my my cells, and I'm going to click on insert charts. Insert, and bam, the system actually created and suggested a type of chart that looks interesting. But I could also, decide to change, right? If I want, for example, to have lines. Okay, it's not very. See, column. And what is interesting, if I decide to change the age of Tony and put 50, yeah, it changes on its own. For example, Morgan is now 12. Up, she's 12. Sophia is 74. Tim. It adjusts automatically, which is extremely convenient. Saves you a lot of time. I like it. I like it a lot. If I double click on it, I can go back to the setup. So, okay, you can see that you can change here up. Edit, remove. Yeah. You can switch, for example, if you want. You see how it makes sense. I mean, depending on the chart you are trying to make. For example, what I like is that you can actually customize it. For example, you can change the background color. Okay, now it's in green. In green, it's not that nice. Okay, for example, in gray, you can change the font up. I can change the font here. I can change the chart title. For example, age of people. Okay, I'm happy. So now I have a title. age of people. I can change here up the color. For example, I'm going to put it in red because I like red. Um, I can change the legend. Um, auto, for example, inside, left, bottom, up, none at all, top, okay. Um, horizontal axis, white lines. See, I can add the little lines. You can actually customize it a lot compared with Excel. You can actually make something super nice out of it. I like it. I like it. So this is the, let's say the let's delete these ones. Okay. So this is the basics, right? Right. Let's delete that too. What else can you actually insert? Obviously, we talked about a chart, insert chart. You can also insert an image if you want up. So for example, insert here an image. So I can upload it, search in my Google Drive, for example here. Yeah, taking that camper picture. Okay, boom, it's here, right? I have a picture, I'm happy. And just put it wherever I want. Um, yeah, something that I like too, I'm going to apply, is that I can insert tick boxes. I'm going to insert here and insert here, up. So for example, I select the cells, okay, and then if I go to insert, checkbox, okay, so I can, just click and create tick boxes. I like that one. I think that it's nice. I could also create yes, just let me check something. Yeah, I could also create a list. This is something that I like a lot. For example, instead of typing yes, no, I mean, seriously, you're not going to do that every single time, right? You could just select the cells, go to data validation, up, and just here create a list from items. So here you could be like, yes, no, maybe, for example, right? Save. So here, yes, no, maybe, right? I like that one. You could also, for example, combine it with from conditional formatting, right? So you select the cells that you want to format. You go to format, conditional formatting, right? You could just say, yeah, okay. If text contains, for example, yes, I want it to be in green. Done. Okay. I could add another rule. For example, if text, okay, text contains no, I want it to be in red. Done. I like that one. So for example, so this one is now empty. If I click on yes, it's going to be green. If I click on no, it's going to be red. I like that one so much. You could also do that with figures, obviously. So for example, I am adding a rule. So for example, if the age is greater or equal to 30, 30, yeah, up. I could decide that it's now in, I'm going to change the color because, okay, in blue, right? Done, done, et voilà. So for example, now if I change it to 16, okay, and just here, and changes, right? It's automatic. I like that. I like this functionality a lot. I think it's much more easier in Sheets than in Excel. What is also interesting? What is interesting? Oh, yes, something that is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So please pay attention. I'm going to get rid of these rows because they are useless. Okay. So something very interesting. You have obviously the possibility to add filters. I'm going to get rid of this picture and this chart. Hopla. You have the possibility to add filters. So you select the columns, you click on data, uh, and you can click on create a filter. Okay, so now you can see that name, age, these empty columns, and the column E. Actually, now you have a filter, so you could sort this, be like, yeah, okay, filter by condition, um, or filter per value. For example, I want to sort the age and be like, yeah, okay, everything that is greater or equal to 30, I want it to appear. Him. So now you can see, just like in Excel, right? You have this little filter thing. What you need to keep in mind, that is extremely important. When you start to filter your data in the sheets, everybody else that is actually consulting the sheets will be impacted by the filter. This is extremely important to keep in mind. Everybody else will be impacted. So the good thing to do is not to create a filter like that out of nowhere, is to actually create a filter views. So I'm going to undo this up, okay? And I'm going to create a filter view. So I can see that columns A, B, C, D, E are actually now filtered, right? I created a filter, but I didn't apply the filter, right? So what's the good thing to do is to actually create a filter view. So if I go to data, filter view, create a new filter view, I click on it. So I have this little window here that I can access. And I can here select column B. Ah, damn it. Sorry, I'm going to do that, to do that again. You select your column that you want, right? For example, the age. You select the column first, and then you go to data, filter view, create a new filter view. So now I can actually, for example, be like, okay, I'm going to sort, for example, from A to Z. So it's now 16, 30, 50, 77. Okay, I can actually give it a name like age filter. And now you will have to believe me because you cannot access this document at the moment, but other people who are trying to access and trying to view this document, they are not going to be impacted but by this filter. Okay, so this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. You need to keep in mind that all the filter views that you are creating are actually not personal. They are part of the document, right? So now I have created an age filter. If I go out of it, if I click on the cross, then I go back to the initial file, right? If I go back to data, filter views, I can see that here I have this filter one that is useless now. And I have age filter. If I click on age filter, I have this age filter that is now up. Everybody else can actually access the age filter. So if I go back to this example of my colleague working on her sheets with all the lines per training sessions. For example, she has a column with all the cities. For example, all the cities. For example, you have Paris, you have Niort, you have Quimper, you have Lyon, you have everything, right? We have maybe 10 people, 15 people working on this, who has only comment and view access, right? Only her can actually amend it in full. If she's creating a filter, a basic filter, for example, on the city, for example, she wants to see all the lines with Paris as a city, all the other person trying to see the document will be impacted, and we're not going to be able to see all the training sessions in the other cities, right? I'm not going to be able to access the training sessions in Lyon, for example. So the good thing to do is to actually create a filter view. So she will be able to access all the training sessions in Paris, and I will still be able to see all the other training sessions in all the other cities. I won't be impacted by the filter, right? This is extremely important to keep that in mind, especially if you are starting to work in a collaborative way and to grant different accesses to people. This is extremely important. So what else? Yeah, obviously you can actually protect sheets and ranges. I'm going, for example, to protect this range, like the name range. I'm going to then select the cells. I go to data. I clicked on protected sheets and ranges. And for example, I'm going to give it a name, like name protection, for example. Okay, and okay, range perfect. And I'm going to set permissions. And I can see that only me can right now edit this range. I could actually custom write and decide to add other person, but I want to say that, yeah, okay, only me can actually edit. Okay, changes are now saved. I could do the same for sheets, for example. If I have another sheet, let's say that I create another sheet and this is a template sheet. For example, this is very useful if you are working with templates. Um, this is my template sheet, right? Okay, at the moment it's empty whatsoever. I want to protect my sheet. I click on add a sheet or range, then I click on sheet, and here I can select the sheet I want. I want to protect the template sheet. Okay, I click. I can set permissions now again, and I want to say, yeah, okay, only me can access and edit this range. Done. Changes are now saved. And if you pay attention now, you can see that you have this little lock, you know, on the sheet. It means that, you know, there is a lock somewhere, something that has been um, protected. So now if I go back to data and I go back to protected sheets and ranges, okay, cancel. If I click on cancel, I can see all the sheets and ranges are now protected. So here, for example, I have name protection. I can click on show all protected ranges, and I can see that template is actually protected. And on sheet 1 from A2 to A5 is protected too. So again, this is very interesting if you are working with templates, if you are working with you know, confidential sheets, this type of thing, and you want some people to access only a part of your sheets and not the whole thing, for example. This is very important. Something that I like too, if you are, for example, working with people and you want to know when people actually make amendments or modifications on your sheet, is that you can actually set up notification rules. For example, if you go to Tools here and you go to Notification Rules, here you can actually decide that you want to be notified each time any changes are made or each time a user submits a form, and you can decide if you want a daily email or if you want an email right away. So for example, if I click on any changes that are made and I want to receive one email per day, I click on it and I save. So now every single time someone is going to make an amendment to my sheets, I'm going to be aware of this and receive an email. I like this function a lot. Obviously, this is one of the main question. You can make a pivot table. If I select my range of cells, okay, and then I can click on pivot table. I'm not sure it's going to make sense because we're only talking about here about name, ages, and so on. But here, okay, pivot table 1. Let's get rid of that. If I click on this, I can see here that I can add rows, columns, values, filter. For example, rows, I'm going to add the name. Okay, great. As a value, I want to add the age, for example. It's a very simple, straightforward sheets that I made, so it's not exactly interesting to make a pivot table with names and ages. But what I like is that you can just move, you know, name, age from rows to columns and so on. Right. I think that it's very easy to play with it. If you are not very comfortable, for example, with it, I think that it's interesting. You can try very easily how it works and what you can do with it. It makes absolutely no sense what I'm doing right now. Just, you know, to show you. Values makes sense as a value. Um, Yeah, you can change if you want to, sum, count, count unique, average, max, min. If you are used to use the pivot table in Excel, you're going to find all the same functionalities in this tool. Something that you need to keep in mind if you are working with Excel, with pivot tables, and you're trying to convert them to sheets. Um, you might encounter some things that are not working properly. You might be forced to reorganize your pivot table. It's not 100% of cases, but it can happen. So if you're trying to convert something and then you find out that your pivot table looks like nothing, it's okay. You're not going to lose all your data. It's just that you need to reorganize here a bit your data and to sort this out. You're not going to lose any data. You're not going to lose any cells. You're not going to lose anything. You just need to reorganize it. I'm just saying that because last week someone said, yeah, it doesn't work. No, it works. It's just that you might need, because it's not, again, everybody is not impacted by that, but you might need to reorganize it. I like pivot tables too. um, Something else that you need to keep in mind if you are working with macros on Excel, don't try to convert your macros, I mean your sheets directly, your Excel directly to sheets if you are working with macros, because you have a different script editor that is not using the same language. If you are just doing the conversion like that, the macros won't be converted. You need to keep that in mind. So if you need any macros to be converted, please reach out to your IT team. They will be able to help you. Don't try to do it on your own, unless you are a specialist of the script editor. I'm not a specialist. I'm just clicking on this to show you how it looks like. See, you can just, type your function. Again, I'm not a specialist, so I mean, you can save it and deploy it, on other sheets. Deploy it as an add-on to your sheets. Yep. Speaking of add-ons, obviously you can get add-ons. Okay, so you have 100, 100 choices. Google Analytics, obviously. We're not going to go into full details, right? It's just to show you. Styles, what is this actually useful? Mapping sheets. Size doc might be an interesting one. Split names, yeah, not very useful, but okay, if you want to play Sudoku, okay, great. See, you have a lot of choices, a lot of add-ons. That one is actually cool. QR code generator. This is great. This is great. This is super useful, actually. Project sheet planning can be useful too. Yeah, you have a lot of choices. Okay, something that we haven't talked about yet, obviously the functions. So if just like in Excel, right? If you type equal, you will be able to access all the functions. So for example, if I start to type sum, see, I have the function that I'm looking for. So for example, if I type sum, something that I like is that you have a little help that is actually very, very well done in this tool. So if I click on the little mark, I can say here that I can find an example, a summary, what I need to add in my cell. So here we're only talking about the sum, but it's actually great if you're not super confident or comfortable with functions. So this is the basic help. Let's say if you click on learn more about if, hopla, you have the full help window with sample, syntax is going to explain everything, notes, and examples. I like it a lot. So you have the full list up here. If you click on insert function, you have the full list here. It's a lot. A few years ago, you had some functions that you could find in Excel that you couldn't find in Google. It's not the case anymore. This is a common question that I get a lot too. Yeah, but I am using this function. Where do I get it? Yes, you have it. For example, you have VLOOKUP. Where is it? Where is it? VLOOKUP here, for example. Very classic one. Obviously, mean, max, count, average, sum, all the filter sort, unique. You have specific Google functions. The text language, I think that one is good. Google Finance, Google Translate, I think that one is cool too. One that I like a lot is actually import range. I like that one. So, for example, I'm going to click and create a new sheet. Don't need it too much. For example, I want to import this data to sheet 4, right? So I'm going to type equal import range, okay? So I have this little explanation. I need to type the spreadsheet URL, okay? So first brackets, spreadsheet URL bar. This is this one, okay? We are doing this. Okay, I am copying, and here I am pasting, okay, brackets, comma, and then I need to select the sheet and the range. So space, brackets, so it's sheet 1. So you need to make sure that obviously you're not making any mistake. Bracket, oh, no, not sorry, exclamation mark. And then I want to select up. It's A1 to E5. Uh, uh, E, okay, brackets, and then close. Enter. So it's loading, and it asks me to allow access to the sheets. I have to allow access, and then yeah, see, I like it. I like it a lot. It's super useful. For example, let's imagine that you are working with sheets that you need to share with coworkers, right? But you don't want your coworkers to access your master sheets because you are working on master sheets, and on this master sheets, you are calling information from different other sheets, right? So, for example, let's imagine that sheet 4 is my master sheet. If I make amendments on sheet 1, okay, and now Morgan, for example, is now called Agathe, okay, saving. Now, if I go back to sheet 4, here Morgan is not called Morgan, it's called Agathe, right? So it's automatic. If I decide to change the age of Laura and now she's 12, okay, Laura is now 12. If I go to sheet 4, Laura is now 12. I like that one. It's super useful. It's so useful. You have so many possible things to do with that one. Um, what else about sheets? Um, mm, 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 mm. I think that we actually talked about almost everything. Spelling again. Yes, you have a spell check. You have again the activity dashboard, so you can see who actually accessed the document, just like in Docs. I like it. It's very useful. Yes, something that is actually useful too is that you can group columns. I like it. For example, I want to group column H to K. I select my columns, data, group columns. Bim. Okay, so now, I like it. I like that one. Um, mm, 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 mm. What else? What else? What else? I think that we talked about almost everything. Yes, I think we did. I think we did. Yeah, again, so you can, download it as an Excel, as a PDF, CSV, very classic. Yeah, okay, you have different keyboards, touch keyboard. I don't know who set this up. Um, okay, great. This is an extremely powerful tool. When you start to, get used to it and use it, it gets super convenient. One of my good colleagues is part of our admin team. He spent almost 20 years working with Excel, and now he's a big fan of sheets. It has a bit at the beginning. He was telling me, yeah, okay, it's a bit complicated because you need to find, all the functions. It's not exactly in the same at the same place, but when you know how to use that tool, it's so much better than Excel. So if you are looking for something, generally speaking, in Sheets, it's the same for Docs. You can click on Help and search the menu here. For example, you're like, okay, how can I merge cells? I can't remember. You type merge, enter, great, merge. Come on, it's not called that well, that way. Merge, let's merge. Move to trash, merge. Okay, great. Bad example. If I type font, insert form, create a form, font size, font 6, font 12. Yeah, okay. Type sum, insert function, sum if, dsum, blah, 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 sum product, and so on. Yeah, obviously I can pay the format too here. Okay, something that I like a lot with Sheets is that you can actually link a form with your Sheets. This is so useful. If you paid attention, you see that in the tools menu, you can see here create a form. If I click on this, I'm going to open a new window, a new tab, depends. And now I have a forms that is linked to this magic sheets. So if I go back to my here Ekol folder, I can find here my magic sheets, and I have this form here in purple, magic sheets. They are linked, right? Here now I have this form responses sheet that is now created. Obviously, I'm going to move it here. So now, for example, I can decide to ask people questions. So if I click here, I can, decide the type of answer. So for example, I can ask for a paragraph and ask you the question, how are you doing? For example, long answer text, right? I can decide to make it a compulsory question. I'm going to tick required, right? Okay. I can click on the plus to add a question. So I'm going to create a new question. So this time I'm going to offer you a multiple choice. For example, oops, where's your trainer today? Up, where's your trainer? And up, multiple choice. Option 1, it's Laura. Option 2, here, add over. Option 2, or option 2, it's Morgan, for example. Okay, I'm going to make it required question, up, add question. Here, I'm going to make a list, a drop-down menu, for example. So what's for dinner? Yeah, okay, it's quite early, but it's never too early to think about dinner. So, for example, tonight I'm going to have a salad. Another option is a pizza. Another option is sushi. Another option is omelette, obviously. Yes. Again, it's required because it's extremely important. I'm going to add another question. I can actually ask people to upload a file. For example, for everybody who is working in human resources, I think that it's super interesting. For example, you can set up a form for all the candidates and the people you meet and ask them to upload their CV or their motivation letter, right? So I'm going to activate this and show you how it looks like. Okay, CV, I'm going to make it required. I'm going to add a question. What else? What else? What else? I can add the date, for example. Okay, date, day today, and make it required too. Okay. Also, I could ask, what else? Hmm. Yeah, you see, you have different choices. I think that it's a very, very interesting tool. I'm going to get rid of that one actually. Um, what is interesting here, if you go to the top right of your screen, you can customize a theme. You can choose an image, for example. I'm going to choose this. What I'm going to choose? Um, mm, 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 mm. Okay, I like that one. A flower, purple flower, right? Select. Yeah, so now I have a purple flower. I could actually upload something. No, select a photo from my computer. What do I have here? Lyon again. Uploading, uploading, still uploading. Uploading. Okay. And be like, yeah, okay, I want to show Fourvière because it's called Fourvière. Okay, so now I have Fourvière in the background. I can, select a theme color. Okay, right. Light blue, dark blue, gray, etc., etc. I could change the font, obviously, if I want, very basic, something a little bit more formal, maybe. Something maybe a little bit more fun. Like that one, it's good. I could, this is something important, change the settings. So, something super important, requires sign in. If you don't tick, if you tick that, and you create a form and send it, only people in ecologistics will be able to open and answer it. If you're, for example, let's take this example of human resources again. If you're working in a human resources team and you want anyone to actually be able to access this form, you need to untick that. This is super important, right? You can decide to collect email addresses as well, for example. Okay, let's do that. You could decide to if you want people to edit, to amend the answer after submitting, oh, sorry, I'm losing my word. After they send an answer, I think this is restrict to users. I think that this restriction is one of the most important to untick. Yeah, you can add a little confirmation message. Thank you, for example, up, save. Okay, so now up, this form is collecting email addresses. So, yes, you have additional options if you want to make a copy, if you want to add people to work on it. So now if I click on send, I will be able to send it to people. So for example, I'm going to send it to Laura, and Laura is going to receive a Gmail notification like, yeah, okay, training one at Ecologistics sent you this form. Yeah, could you please fill it? Okay, I'm going to send it and show you how it looks like. So now I have responses and I am waiting for one response from Laura Testu. So I'm going to check my emails on my phone. Up. Okay, so I have this invitation now. I can fill out the form. And I'm going to show you that actually it's done, automatically. I don't have to click on anything, right? So I'm not clicking on anything. So on my phone, I'm going to add my email address. So I'm adding my email address. How am I doing? Well, fine, thanks. Okay. Who's your trainer? Well, it's Laura. What's for dinner? I can select an answer, and I'm going to add pizza because I'm a pizza lover. I'm going to add a file. Clack, clack, clack. Going to add something from my drive. Up. Yeah, the screen is very small actually. Very, very small. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to select that one. And what's the date today? Let's say that I am living in the future, and today is 20th of February. Right. So I am sending the form right now. Click on send. It's sending. Okay. So you see, I don't have to refresh anything. I can see that I have a response and that Laura Testier de Team Class actually replied to this. So she said, how are you doing? Yes, fine. Who is the trainer? It's Laura. So I can see, you know, what people actually replied. What's for dinner? Pizza, because pizza is cool. And I can see here that she uploaded a file and that it's now stored in my drive. And what's the day today? Well, she's living in the future. It's 20th of February. So what's interesting, if I go back to my sheets and I go back to the form responses, I can find all the data here. Okay, so I have the timestamp. How am I doing? The questions here, first here, and all the answers she provided. What's interesting here is that you can actually sort the data and actually make something out of it. For example, we use it a lot for our training sessions. We send a satisfaction survey, for example, and then we ask people to rate the trainer, right? So it's important for us to know the rating, and then we can make some sort of analysis for each trainer. We have these huge sheets with everybody inside. It's super interesting to do it that way. So I asked Laura to upload a file. So now I have here this folder, Magic Sheets, right? It's the file responses. If I double click on it, double click, I can see CV. You know, this is the title of the question here. Up here, you see here. If I click on it, I can see that she actually uploaded a picture. I can see her name, Laura Testu, and I can see that I am the owner of it, right? So when people actually upload a file from a form, it's actually going to create a folder in your drive. In your drive, keep that in mind, in your drive, and you are the owner of the file, right? So Laura Testu is not the owner, I am. So I created a form from sheets, but you are not forced to do that, obviously. I could just, create a form like this. I just go here in the Ekol folder still, new, or Google Forms. Create in a shared folder, yes. Again, it asks you to, if you are sure that you want to create a file in a shared folder. So again, it asks you to be responsible of what you are creating. Create and share. And again, you can call it, I don't know, form 2. Saving now. Cool. Up. It's now here. Form 2. It's here. And there is no sheets associated to it. But you can create a sheet associated to it. So now, for example, if I go back to my Form 2 form, I click on responses, and I can here click on create spreadsheets. So I can sort the data. I could access it from the response window, but I could also create a spreadsheet. See, you can do it from one way to another. I think that it's very convenient. Okay, I like it a lot. I like this app a lot. Seriously, it's very easy to do, very convenient. You can find the answers of the people you are sending the form very easily, very quickly. I think that it works very nicely. Oh, I'm going to get rid of that. Just thinking of something that I forgot to show you, and that is also interesting. You have the possibility to lock a column or a row. Maybe you paid attention, but if you look next to the column A and line 1, you can see that you have this big gray line here with the little hand mouse. If you click on it, you can just move it here. Same for the line. Clack. I just have to drag and drop, right? So now line 1 is going to be locked, right? I can, scroll. And same for column A. See, column A is now locked, and I can move from, you know, from the right and the left. Very useful. Much more convenience again than with Excel. I like that one too. And you can look actually whatever you want. Huh? I looked the two first lines, but you can select whatever you want. Hopla. Okay. Okay. I think that we talked about everything about forms. The last tool that is actually super useful is Google Slides. Okay, so I'm going to create a Google Slides right now. Creating a shared folder again. Yes. Okay. Just going to have a bit of water because I get thirsty talking all alone. Okay. So if you are used to work with PowerPoint, you're not going to be lost. It's exactly the same thing, clearly. You will be able to convert from PowerPoint to Google Slides very easily, the same way we did with Docs, the same way we did with Sheets. Just keep in mind that some fonts are going to get lost in the middle. I noticed the same thing with the lobster font. I talked a bit earlier about it. I don't know what's wrong with this specific font, but I noticed that, well, it doesn't like to be converted. Something also that doesn't work very nicely is to ski everything that is transitions between slides, right? You can see that you can dissolve, fade, flip, cube, and so on. You might find that some transitions are not properly done. So you might need to check if all the transitions are actually made properly in the conversion. So something that I like is that you can also, just like Docs, work from templates. If you click on File, New, from Templates, got logistics, no templates available yet, but you could, just create a template and select it from this page. This is extremely useful. Just for your information, I'm going to show you, where is my drive here? Google Slides, yes, share. File, new, from templates. So here I have my Devo Team G Cloud templates that are available here. I just have to click on it, select one, and use it to start my own presentation. For example, I click on training, template slide DGC, DJC, sorry, GC. And boom, I have the template ready for me. I like it. I like it. Okay. So, just like in Sheets, just like in Docs, you can work at the same time on the same documents. I am going to try to access this document. Ekol folders. Ekol folder. Ekol folder. Where is it? Because I didn't change the name. Some slides. Yes. Okay. Now it's here. It's here. Okay, fine. Yes, if you, for example, this is a typical example. I made no notification, no amendments. As soon as I changed the title, it's considered as an amendment. So it created a new file that I can now find here. Up. Why can't I access it from my phone? Yeah, okay. I have some data troubles with my phone. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just like docs, just like sheets, you will be able to work at the same time on the same document. We do that a lot, for example, with my colleagues when we are working on catalogs. For example, we are like, yeah, okay, I am working on pages 1 to 10, and then Grace is working on pages 11 to 20, and then Hélène is working on pages 20 to 30, and then someone else is working on page 50 to 60, blah, 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 blah. You see my point. You can save a lot of time. You could also imagine, this is something that we used to do in my former company, to create a slides for postmortems, for example, on projects, and be like, yeah, okay, slide 2 to 5 is for operations, and slide 6 to 7 is for I don't know, communication, and then for IT, and then for whatever, depending on the teams and the departments that are working on a project. And you could ask, for example, yeah, could you please fill up the slides for your team? And ask someone else, yeah, could you please fill up the slides for your other team? Blah 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 blah. Instead of sending, the template to someone, and then everybody is going to fill um, the template on its own, and then they're going to send it back to you, and you will have to take all the data from what we are working, put it in your master slides, and then waste a lot of time because everybody could have done it directly on the slides in a collaborative way. Um, this is a huge, huge, huge tool to save time, actually. So, just going to uh, find find this. Um, mm, 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 mm. Yep. Okay, so if you are working on PowerPoint, you will find exactly the same settings. You can create a new slide, for example, right? Create a new slide. You can, okay, you already have some text boxes set up. You could delete it, for example. I'm going to show you up. You could create a new one. I'm going to click on text box, create a new box. Okay. Slide 2, for example. So here I can select it, change the font, I'm going to select impact, put it in huge, for example, put it in the middle, okay. Okay, here, for example, I can change the border, for example, up here. Okay, I'm happy. I can change the size of the border. I can change the color, obviously, of the border. I can insert an image, for example. If I click here, I can upload it from the computer or search from the web or Drive, just like what you can do in Docs. So, for example, upload from computer. I can select again this Lyon picture up, and now it's here. I can, change the dimensions, move it up, click here. Something that is nice, you can see, for example, if I start to move, I can see that here there is a red line. See, it's a tool to help me to see where is the middle, right? Where is the border here, here, on the right, on the left. I like that tool, it's super useful. I could also add a shape, for example, here, up, a shape. Okay, I could type in it, shape 1, beam. Okay. I could add, a line, for example, like an arrow, clock. So this is an arrow. Okay. I could change the style of the arrow, for example, like this. I could change, the style of it. Could change the size of it, for example. It's nice. It's nice. Very useful. Um, Again, you can see that you can find the same function here to add a comment. Just like in Sheets, just like in Docs, you can add comments. So, for example, you could create a box here up and ask your colleague to fill it in. So I have my box. I click on Add a comment, and I could ask again, Laura, add this too. Would you please fill in the box? Whatsoever. I'm going to assign it to her. Sign. Okay. So now Laura Testu is going to receive an email saying, yeah, okay, training one asks you to fill in the box here. Could you please click on this link? And it's going to redirect Laura Testu directly to this slide. And what is interesting here, you can see on the left, you have a little box with one because you have one comment here. Up. So again, you can see that all changes are saved in Drive, just like Docs, just like Sheets. You don't have any saving option. Everything is saved at the moment. So if I click on File, Version History, see Version History, I can see all the modifications that have been made on my document. See, okay, I deleted that. I created a new text box, and then I added a photo, and then I added shapes. Blah, 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 blah. I could obviously click on restore this file to restore the file. Up. I could also name the version, name current version for its awesome version, because it's awesome. Save. Named it in version history. I could decide to change the background, for example. Default setting is like, yeah, okay, it's white. I could change it to, I don't know, pale green, for example, or choose an image, right? I'm going to choose an image. Okay, I don't have so many images. Maybe I could find something else for next time. Uploading. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, huh? Because of my Wi-Fi, again, not because of the tool. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, done. So now I have this gorgeous image as a background. Um, Reset to theme, add to theme, etc., etc. You could change the layout. If you want to, change, different the placement of the boxes. I could change the theme. For example, I could add that one. Okay. See, I can see that I still have Quimper on the background, right? That one. Click to add title, and so on. You have many different options and things to test and see how it works for you. Obviously, transitions. I'm not a big fan of transitions, but some people just love it. So, for example, let's say that you want to create a fade transition, and if it's going fast, and you want to apply it to all slides. Okay, play. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, slide one. Great. Crap. Okay, great. Oh, I just pressed enter. Okay, cool, great. Thanks, thank you. I think that it's normal actually. Just going to show me for one slide. Um, Stop. I can, I'm going to check flip. How does it look like? Flip. Okay, great. So you can see that you have, stop it. You have different options: flip, cube, gallery, dissolve, fade. Um, up. Again, just keep in mind that if you are working from PowerPoint and you are trying to convert this PowerPoint to slides, just keep in mind that these transitions can, get deleted. So just keep that in mind. But you might need to check if all your transitions are properly converted in your new slides. Okay. You can add a video, obviously. Up. That's great. Insert, okay, we talked about an image, text box, a video. I don't have any video on my computer, but you could add, for example, a YouTube video here. Okay, let's find. So, for example, not that one. Or a YouTube video here. No, not that one, I said. For example, relaxing jazz music. Yes. For example, yeah, very relaxing. Up, going to copy and paste. Okay, and select. So now I have this little video that is going to play on my slides. How relaxing. Okay, great. Up, I could also insert a table, very classic shape. We talked about it earlier. I can insert a chart. Just like in Docs, I can select it from a sheet. I like it a lot. For example, if I call back this chart from Magic Sheets, insert, select. Oh, deleted it, obviously. Obviously. Up. Let's select another sample. Let's select that one, for example. Sample. Okay, let's select it. Import. Bim. I have my chart. I'm happy. And what is interesting to see is that it's linked actually. See? So what does it mean? It means that if you are making amendments in your chart, in your sheets, and then you go back to your slides and you click on um, oh, I forgot the name in English. Oh, no, no. To update, thank you myself. To update the chart, you will have this little button here, and you will just need to click on it and get the latest data updated from your sheets. This is so convenient. So convenient. You don't need, to make a screenshot of your chart and then copy it in your slides. No, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is to call it back from your sheets from here, insert chart from sheets, and then all you will need to do is to click on update to get the latest data. This is so convenient. Animation, comment, we talked about it. Slide, obviously, new slide, duplicate slide. You can duplicate a slide. For example, I like this slide too, and I want to use it as a model. You could just duplicate it. Boom, you have exactly the same. It's here now. You could decide, if you make a right click to skip the slide. So when you will start the presentation, it's going to skip that slide. Very useful too. Apply layout, we talked about it already. If you start to have a lot of elements on your slide, obviously you can change the order. Bring to front, bring forward. For example, I'm going to take this example. See, so shape 1 is on the front of the Lyon picture. If I could right click and change the order, bring forward, bring backward, up, again, turn to back, path. So now it's below. See, easy. Again, you have a spelling tool. You have a dictionary, obviously. You have the possibility to type your note with the voice editor tool, which is super useful. You have the activity dashboard again, so you can see who actually accessed your slides. And when your slide is ready to go, you can just start and click on present. So now it's loading. It's better if I start from slide 1. Thank you. So, okay, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. I'm happy. Slide 4. So now I could just click, and now the video is playing. Music. So great. And my charts. And then this is the end. Great. Escape. Yeah, so again, you can decide to download it as a PowerPoint. For example, if you're working with people who are not using Google Docs, Google Slides, it can be actually useful if you need to present something from a computer that is not yours. For example, this is something that we used to do a lot in my former company. People were working on presentations, on slides from the computer, and then they had to present them at a cinema. And we had to actually use a specific format, and it was only one, and it was PowerPoint. So if you are in this context, for example, this is the tool that you might need to use. Something that is also useful is that you can actually download it as a PDF document. This is something that I do kind of all the time. PDF documents. Okay, so only takes a little bit of time. Open it in the folder, and then it's here. Awesome slides, and then have this PDF. See, voila, I have my borders, I have my pictures, I have this and that and that. And if I click on the video link, gets me back to here. I'm happy. Okay. Film strip view, grid view. Up. Yes, we have different ways of seeing your slides if you want to have like in the PowerPoint like the PowerPoint view, if you want to have all your slides on the left and the main slide in the middle, if you want to have this view, with all the little slides, so you can just double click on it to open it. It might be convenient. Yes, you can actually select add-ons for slides to get add-ons up. Yes, so yes, it's more like, for example, if you want to insert icons, it's going to give you a little bit more of a little bit more tools. It's going to allow you maybe to create your own templates. If you want to add stickers, for example, clip art logos. If you want to add extra something to your slides, I'm going to let you look at it, see how it can work for you. You have actually a lot of things, huh? A lot of choices. Nice. Okay. Okay. I think that we talked about everything about slides. Um, just let me check. Um, mm, 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 mm. Let me check if we have everything. Clack, clack. Um, yes, I think that we have everything. I think that we have everything. Yeah, something maybe that might be useful if you click on New. I showed you how to actually create a Google Docs, a Google Sheets from a template from the document, but you don't need to create a document and then create to click on File, New from a template. You could also directly do it from the New button. If you go on your Drive, I am in my Ekol folder, I click on New, Google Docs, if I click on the little arrow, I have here from a template or from a blank document. So you don't need to create a document first and then click on File, New from a template. If we click on More, you have also drawings. I like it, Google Drawings, Google Maps. Drawings is going to allow you to make little, okay, great, little drawings very quickly. For example, to create shapes. For example, I'm going to create that one. I can type inside. It's like, I'm going to change the color of it. For example, okay, like this, to add a little text box back here. It's like a pent, but more in like an evolved pent, let's say. Um, Evolved pent. It's nice. You will be able to insert an image, painting, for example. Okay, that one. Creating images. Clack. See, that's cool. Obviously, you can download it as a PDF, PNG. You have an history version. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yep. What else? What else? What else? You also have this function that I like a lot. You have the possibility to make your own maps with Google My Maps. For example, with my coworkers, we have this map where we put all the nice places to eat and have a drink around the office. Just for, it's nice. It's nice. Create and share. I can create layers. Um, Learn more about drawing base map. Yeah, I can change it if I want. That's weird. That way. So I could, just click on the little something, click here, and say, okay, point one, save. I could change the color. I could change, up. I could add something else here, up, tag, tag. I think it's nice. One of my good friends is actually using it to mark all the places she's been traveling in the past years. So now a Europe map looks like it's totally covered. It's funny. Okay. Forms, drawings, my maps, good size. Yes, I think that we covered all the topics about Drive. Just a quick word about Team Drive because I can see that it's actually open for you. It wasn't part of my of the training, but I can see that it's here, so it's important. So at least you know what it is. What is the difference between my drive and the team drives? Everything you put on your drive is strictly personal. I said that already, but I'm just saying that again, as an extra layer. Everything you put on my drive is personal. Unless you decide you to share it, it's totally personal and nobody else can access it. When you decide to create a team drive, so for example, you have here a test team drive with 2 members in it. When you start to add members, everybody that is part of this list members can actually access the content of the drive, right? So it's important to keep in mind that team drives are actually made to share files with your team. You cannot be as precise than a standard drive. So if you click on members, you can see that you have different type of members. You have the manager is able to manage content, members and settings, the content manager, contributor, commenter, viewer. So I think that it's important to keep in mind that you want to keep only 2 managers per team drive, and everybody else will be a content manager or contributor. So that way, you only have one person, two people maybe, who are actually able to delete and add new members. This is super important. Hop. Um, and again, I insist on this, but again, everybody you add to the member list will be able to access the full content of the team drive. This is extremely important. So then it works just like classic drive, right? You can just create a new folder like this one, type properly anymore, create. Next one, you can change the color, obviously. You can decide to upload things up. I'm going to upload something like here again, uploading, uploading, still uploading. What's going on with my Wi-Fi today? It's incredible. Okay, done. See, so now everybody that is actually part of here, of the yeah, of the list member can actually access full content of the folders. It's important to keep that in mind. So you could actually decide to create team drives per teams, for example, per project, keeping in mind that anybody that is part of the list can access the files. This is extremely important. Okay, I think that we talked about everything. I hope that it was informative. I apologize so much for not sharing my screen in the first time. I hope that it was okay for you still. You could actually listen to it again, making the same test that I was making. I was describing everything what I was doing, so I think that would be fine. Again, my apologies. I'm very sorry about that. Um, I hope that it was okay for everything that is related to the office suits. Again, if you have any question, you can ask your IT team. They have everything you need to help you and to support you. And yes, I wish you a nice afternoon and see you soon. Bye.